Good morning. I said, good morning, Gil.
My audio is not working. Hold on.
We are recording. I can hear you.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I think this is better.
This is better.
This is the betters. How's it going?
Good. How's it going, Mr. Hood?
I'm good, Mr. Took.
Mr. Took and Mr. Hood. We're
quite cool.
We're like Mr. Men books.
I look like a priestess from like Dune or something.
A priestess from Dune. You were giving me just a little bit with the hood. You were giving me the what's the guy called? Not the Top Man. Is it the Top Man in Squid Game? Top Man.
Oh, Front Man.
Front Man. That's it. The Front Man.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah. You just finished that, eh?
I just finished it.
Wow. Spoilers. Spoilers for Squid Game if anybody hasn't watched that. But
are we actually going to talk about it?
Let's chat about it for a couple of minutes here because
it's
worth to talk
so
about.
Good. I enjoy it, except for the Grody McCody. It did go into a bit of McCody for me. Hang on a sec. Still's got to help me.
But that's the point, though, right?
It's not, though. No. It doesn't have to go to McCody. No, it doesn't. No. And I don't mean
shock value.
And I don't mean the Grody McCody where like someone's getting shot. That's not the McCody I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Grody, like the.
Just say it.
The organs, like the cadaver.
The harvesting,
man. And then there were some scenes where some of the players in the game, had their brains spilling out here and there, like just a bit of McCody. I don't know.
There's a little bit, but I think that it was appropriate.
Mostly Grody. Mostly,
because it's supposed to be like this, like look into class systems and the, and so like there's this visceral violence that happens, and it's supposed to show how shitty it is for these people at the bottom, right? I really loved it. I thought there was so many
actors were so good. Like
they were so good,
incredible.
Yeah.
I was hooked. And unfortunately, get this, I guessed the ending.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, as I was watching it with my son.
Yet again, spoilers for the whole season of Squid Game if you haven't watched it. Please skip ahead in this video if you haven't watched it.
So I'm watching it and they're playing a game, I think called Ganju or Ganju.
Which one? Which game?
The game. It's the game where they are given, I think it's 5 marbles each.
Yeah.
And they have to interact.
That's the episode Ganju. Yeah, Ganju is the episode.
Ganju? Okay.
Yeah, that's the episode that it was, because Ganju is the word that the old man uses for best friend.
So if you look at that scene, when the old man, loses, right, by giving his last marble, and he knew that he was being played, like that whole thing, dude, was just great.
Yeah.
But when he gets shot, he's the only character that they don't show it.
Right.
And I said that to Parker. I said, look, if that was me, and if I was filming this and directing this, and if I didn't show that old man, I would have him come back.
Yeah. See, when I was watching it, I assumed that he was killed off screen because
they didn't want to show the old man.
They didn't want to show the old man getting killed.
That's what Parker said.
But two, our main character couldn't stand to see it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, he walked away. No, he took the camera. The camera was following him and was walking away. And I totally understand that. But one of the things I've learned in cinema is that what you're shown is what you're shown.
For sure.
And
Absolutely.
so
I totally
if
agree.
so if they don't show it, it's fair
Yeah.
game
Did
to
they
bring
not
him back.
show? Did they not show the other guy getting killed?
Which guy?
Um, the
I can't remember all
what's
the
his name?
characters'
I can't remember
names.
names. I can't remember names. We
I
are the
mean,
worst show ever.
Ali is
Yes, Ali.
Ali.
Did
Oh yeah,
did
they showed him. Yeah.
oh, they showed him getting killed.
Yeah.
That one episode though, that episode 6
was
was one of the
brutal.
best episodes. The marbles and the split yourself up into
I
teams,
was
and then you have to
honored.
fight against your team.
The one gal, oh my god, cute as a button. When she says to like the model who, I think she was a first time actor,
Yeah.
and I had heard that she was crying the whole time, thinking how terrible she was at acting. And
Yeah. Right.
And then she said, "I was honored to be your partner."
Yeah.
And oh my god, it was like so good.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It was really, really good. I loved the bridge. The bridge thing was amazing.
The bridge was amazing.
Yeah, it was all of it was all really, really good.
Yeah.
I even really liked the Squid Game at the end. I thought that was really, really fun. Yeah, what a great show. It was really good.
Yeah, very entertaining. And of course, I love that the main protagonist, right at the very end, he gets told what to do, and then he turns around, doesn't get on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sets up a potential second one. I don't think there will be a second one. I think that we're supposed to just kind of assume we know what happens or whatever, but
it would be great if there was not a second, but
I think so too.
I think given the popularity and the amount of money from streaming and revenues that can be had from a second, come on.
Yeah.
How can they not do it?
Well, it's hard to judge how much a show on a streaming service makes, right? Because you're either increasing subscriptions or retaining subscriptions from it.
From the current model, none of the actors are making much from the streaming. I'll tell you that.
Right. Well, the way that I listened to a podcast last week, and the way they explained how Squid Game worked was that they think that it made, and made is like in quotes here because there's a lot of factors in what made it means, but like it was like 900 million is the guesstimated earnings that it made through subscriptions that they think they kept, new subscriptions that they kept, because it's such a worldwide phenomenon kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's hard to quantify how much they made, right?
Right.
It's not a box office total. Like they had to, someone had to go out and purchase tickets for this show.
Yeah.
So
I would have.
Yeah.
So good.
So morning. Welcome
good
to
morning.
the show.
Good morning.
Good morning, Gills. Welcome to the show.
Got the coffee going. I see you got your Critical Role mug going.
Yeah. I got my my Father's Day gifts finally in.
I was hoping you were going to save that mug because I got this monster mug that we could feature for Halloween.
We hopefully we're going to do one next weekend, so we'll do a Halloween one next weekend.
We could save it till then.
Yeah. You could always take the picture now, and then if you end up using a different mug. But yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. It's been a couple weeks since we've done anything. The Kenville house over here has been hit pretty hard with loss, and we have been trying to get some stuff done. It has been very difficult to get anybody motivated to do stuff right now, but we managed to be able to record this week, Jack and I, and we want to be able to do an Ugly Bugs today too, because it has been a couple weeks. So yeah, welcome to the show. So how you been, Jack?
I've been okay. I've been all right.
We are very quickly closing on the end of part 2 here in Words of Radiance. How are you feeling about getting this far into the book so far?
The chapter, the chapter that we left on, as I was saying to you in the pod itself, is like taking a break in the middle of one of the most, seat gluing, like you just on the edge of your seat moments that you could possibly have in a book, and that's exactly where we stopped. So, and unfortunately, I meant to get back reading on Friday, couldn't do it, had to do some work for my family.
That's okay.
And yesterday was busy, so I didn't jump
I kind
on.
of like the model that we have right now, which is you read the chapters Thursday morning and then we record Thursday afternoon, because you're like so hyped for it. Come recording time,
It's
you
very
just read the
fresh.
books.
Yeah,
It's very
very
fresh for you. I kind of like that. So yeah,
Well,
so no need to change.
well, if I do read it sooner, I'll have to reread it on the given day that we record. But
they're two small chapters. So
like those chapters were fantastic. And
yeah,
I think just that little hint maybe as to what Tin could be about. That little thing.
Yeah, with the
smoke.
When she squeezed the mossy substance between her fingers,
and there was smoke,
and a very plume of smoke that came out, and we had just read the epigraph
smoke
of smoke form. Yeah, which is all full of lies and spies. Yeah, I get you, dude. I get you. Your brain is making some connections. That's good.
We'll see.
I'm a big fan of mossy substances, so I just really can appreciate that just on a visceral level.
Okay, I'm gonna totally date myself and embarrass myself, but in high school, which is a long time ago for me now.
Long time ago.
There was a deodorant, because I had to have deodorant. Had to have it. A deodorant called by this company, I guess Menon, and I think they made Speed Stick, which I think still to this day is a thing. Speed Stick
by Menon.
Yeah, that commercial by Menon, right? They had a deodorant called Wild Moss, which was like an army green, and it had a really distinctive scent. That was my thing,
right?
Forever, until they didn't make it anymore, and I was very, very upset, and I went through this whole lamentation. Armpit lamentation, yeah.
Why are you so sad? My armpits don't smell the way they normally
do. They don't smell like wild moss. Aww.
I'm using currently Old Spice's Night Panther.
Oh my gosh, the night panther. Do you bring that guy out every once in a while?
It sounds like
Night
a cologne.
Panther?
Yeah, it sounds like a cologne from Anchorman. Like it sounds like.
You know what? If they were smart, they would hook up with D&D and put the Panther of Drizzt on the.
There you go. Yeah, Gwen Mavar. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, we had a couple episodes that came and went this week. Episode 11. And episode 11.
I can't believe it. The white assassin. I can't believe this assassin in white is there, and is not even there for the king. He's there for Dalinar, and
we're not even talking about that episode yet. We just recorded that one. We're talking about the one that was released this week, which is
you're doing release
episode 11.
Week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still on the edge of my seat with that. Okay, you go ahead. I'll shut up. Go ahead.
No, you can talk. We're not talking about that episode.
Well, I can't help it. I thought you.
I know.
Okay, I should.
We are a little disconnected from because when we do these ugly mugs, we're doing it the week that we recorded a specific episode. But now we're talking about an episode that we recorded like 2 months ago, right? So we're a little disconnected. But...
Okay, so bring me back to where we're releasing. Okay.
So we are talking about episode 11, which is when Shallan starts to harness her inner Yasna and starts to take control of Tavlakov's caravan.
Oh yes, yeah, that was really great.
Yeah,
it's nice to see her. I guess feign confidence,
right?
Which is neat.
Yeah, this is when she starts to.
Has she already?
This might be the. I think she's used Stormlight for the first time in this chapter,
right?
And has kind of made the dress look nicer, and kind of like convinced Tavlakov that we're gonna do this my way, kind of thing.
Prestidigitation?
More like a minor illusion, I think. But and then the second part of that episode was Adeline's first duel. When he goes out there and he just completely
first duel. Oh yeah,
he sits and
decimates
he talks to the sword.
That guy.
Right, he talks to the sword.
Yeah.
Him and Renarin run through the checklist of all the superstitions that he has. I ate chicken. I've got mom's necklace with me. I did this. I did that. And then he goes out there and completely destroys that guy. This is when he says, "This is no time for a fight. This is time for a beating."
Right.
Yeah.
I liked his little speech with the sword. That was really cool.
Yeah.
That was a great Adeline moment.
Yeah, when he's like, he's like,
Mhm.
I know that I didn't. He's like, I don't own you. I'm just using you. Like I'm just, we're like partner. He's almost like saying that him and the sword are partners. You know what I mean? Like when I first
How
won
cool would
you.
it be if how great would it be if Adeline could actually get Sadius up against him?
It would be amazing. I mean, we've talked about this in that episode that Dalinar's goal is to take away all the Bright Lord's toys, so they're shards, and that's why Adeline's doing this. But
Okay.
Adeline's deeper hope is that he could face Sadius in the dueling pit.
Right.
So
Yeah, I know. How great would that be?
it would be pretty great.
But you know what? I mean, it would have to be written depending on events that led up to it.
Mhm.
Adeline could not win.
Yeah.
Because actually that would be the big surprise, I think, is if he did win. That would actually be surprising.
Right.
Huh. Anyways,
That would subvert my expectations.
that
for
would
sure.
be that would give me don't know. Okay, I can't. Ugh.
So the episode 11's episode art that we used was by Cephandrius _art on Reddit. It's a picture of the two boys, like arm in arm, Renarn and Adeline, kind of
Renarn and
like
Adeline.
side hugging. There was a picture. There was an image that I used earlier on in the pod. I think it was an episode, book 1. I used a picture of Adeline standing in front of his sword in a like pose, like he was talking to the sword. And I realized afterwards, I'll show you a picture of it here on the actual call here. Jack, can you see this picture?
Yeah, I've got it. I think I've got it now. Yeah, I've got it now in front of me. Red scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great picture. I love it.
Yeah, it's really nice. So yeah, so I ended up going with this one. And the one that I was talking about before, which if you scroll down a little bit.
Yeah.
If you scroll down, if you go to our main page and you scroll down a little bit, there'll be a picture of Adeline in his blue armor standing in front of his sword, or sitting in front of his sword. That's kind of like the image of Adeline prepping for the duel.
Where's this? I don't have it.
If you go to our feed,
I am on the feed.
this picture.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Yeah, I'm trying to find it in the feed. Huh, I must have went down too far. How far down? From where?
It's like
from the latest.
I don't know. It's like 20 pictures down or something.
Oh, that's pretty far. Okay, there it is. Yeah, got it.
So that's
Yeah.
that image is actually of Adeline talking to his sword. And I didn't really realize it in the first season, or in covering book 1. So I used it because I just loved that one, and the artist gave us permission and everything. And then
Yeah,
I realized when this scene came up in our when we were researching, I'm like, oh, that's the picture that I used last season, but I can't use it again. Like I didn't want to use it again, so I ended up finding this really cool picture of brothers in arms, literally.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good. This one was a good picture.
That's cool.
Well, so.
I like the iridescent quality to his armor there too.
The armor, it's really nice, eh?
But the one with their arm in arm, that's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's really cool. So then the next episode we covered, which would have been this week's release, was episode 12, and this episode had. Let me see here.
Shallan? You're talking about the art?
Mr. Shallan. Yeah, so it was Shallan uses some of Yasna's lessons. So this is when we start to remember we talked a lot about like, oh, Shallan or Yasna's still with her because, and we made jokes about Shallan wearing the "What would Yasna do" bracelet, like look down at it and go, what would Yasna do in this moment? So she's starting to like to pretend to be this high lady. So it's just a continuation kind of the previous chapter with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kaladin also visits the sparring grounds, and this is when he meets Zale for the first time. He has a little bit of a run-in with Adeline. They don't fight yet. That's the next chapter.
I'm fascinated by Zale. I'm fascinated by Zale.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Like he could be, he could be somebody that could beat Sadeas in a duel, you know, like
Mhm.
or somebody that maybe the protagonists can't beat, but maybe he could,
Right.
right? Because he's a sword master, right?
Right. Yeah, that he's an artist
That's
too, though. So I don't think that he has a right
well,
to be able to do that.
well,
Well,
I don't know.
mm.
That's
But
that's his potential. That's his
right.
potentiality, if you
Mhm.
will, for the story. Like
Yeah.
you have protagonists, you have villains, and there's the gray areas in between, which is what makes Sadeas and Amaram and others interesting. Is that like we discussed, I think on one of our last pods, that Amaram, sure, you can hate him for the Red Room sort of incident and
Mhm.
the betrayal and putting Kaladin into slavery, but he's a great general.
Mhm.
He conducts his men, very well. They're
Very
efficient. They're good
professionally.
fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no rabble. There's no,
Mhm.
and
Yep. They're
that's
all loyal to him.
it's a good quality. But yet, he's
He's a scum.
greedy and yeah, yeah. Well, he's willing to kill others to advance his own. Like
Right.
that's
Mhm. So yeah, there's a moment in that sparring grounds episode or chapter where Zale says they waited for me to get back before doing this, and the doing this is the finding a master for Renarin. And Zale's
right,
like, I've been gone for a while, but now that I'm back, now because they almost like they know that I'll have to say yes, kind of
right,
thing.
right.
Um, and then he turns to Kaladin and he says, "I won't rough up the prince too much. Like I'll don't worry about it. I won't hurt him too much, kind of thing."
Right.
I really like that because he's like, this old grizzled vet who is like, I don't really want to do this, but his
Right.
honor prevents him from being able to say no.
No. Mhm.
Yeah. So I like it. I like it. It's a really great introduction to Zale. He's really awesome.
Oh,
He's also very
I hope we get more
strange.
Zale. I hope we get more
Yeah.
Zale.
He's also very strange. We find out in this chapter. He speaks in like sayings that don't really make sense. And he
Oh yeah,
says,
what
"Oh,
was that phrase he had?
he had a few of them in that chapter
Oh,
where
I don't have my book. Damn it.
I don't have my book here either, but he spoke in these weird phrases and these
Hmm.
weird slang terms that didn't really make sense, and Cal had never heard them before. So
Mhm.
he's not from around here for sure.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's
Interesting.
all I have for the two episodes. Anything further that you wanted to?
Oh, I know I'm I'm still waking up. I'm still waiting for this juice, whatever, this hot brown morning potion
Mm,
to kick in.
um,
I need me another season of the Dragon Prince.
it's funny. There's have you watched Ted Lasso yet?
Ted Lasso. No. What's that?
Jason Sudeikis. Do you know who that is? It's a ex
Jason Sudeikis.
SNL guy.
Okay, I was gonna say, is he from The Office? But no. Okay, he's an
Yeah,
SNL guy. So no, I don't.
yeah.
I don't.
He plays an American football coach who teaches soccer in England, and
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and anyways, he's really hilarious. And he
Football, American
says,
football or football UK?
he's an American football coach who gets hired to teach soccer in
Oh, to
England.
teach soccer. Well, to see. Okay,
Yeah, and
you
it's
realize that it's
hilarious.
to teach football in UK, right?
Yeah, this is Jason Sudeikis. Hold on. Nope.
Can't see. He's got brown hair, brown beard. Can't see his face. Okay,
Hold on.
it's okay. It's just not coming through. Oh, I can see his face now. Okay, Jason. All right.
Yeah. So, anyways, he says he keeps getting offered tea in the show,
Offered
and
tea.
offered tea
Okay.
to drink because they drink tea in England, and he says, "No,
Hey.
I don't want to drink your dirty water."
I
It's so funny
don't want to drink your dirty water.
because it's like
That's
to him, tea is like dirt water, just brown
well,
water.
that's just silly.
It's really funny.
That's good.
Anyways, it's a really funny show. You should check it out.
I like me some tea. I'm in support of tea. I think I'll have one after this coffee.
So we have a question. We haven't had a question from the Patreon group for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Joel sent us a question on Discord that I thought we could have a little discussion about. We actually
Let's chatty chat.
To preface this, we do have a whole episode on our YouTube, which is like 2 years old, of Jack talking exactly about this subject. His question is, I end up using the Witcher 3 soundtrack for
Which
a lot
I
for my
love. I love
too.
Witcher 3.
It's fantastic.
My problem with okay, maybe this is something that the community can help me out, is that I'm running games on Roll20, as I'm sure some of you may be doing, but I haven't figured out how to run let's say Spotify through Roll20. I
Right.
think there's maybe bots or gizmos that you have to download in order to do it, or maybe it's not possible.
I think that there's a way of being able to run Spotify through Discord, not through Roll20.
Okay, so through Discord.
That's what I did with the Redwood game. So each individual person who is playing in your game also has to have Spotify, a paid Spotify account.
Okay.
And then they're all linked to you on Discord. There's a switch.
Is that how we did it?
That's how we did it on Redwood.
Okay,
not everyone had Spotify at the time though, so not everyone was able to hear the music I played when I ran that game.
Right.
You don't run it through Roll20, you would run it through Discord.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then you could have the plethora of music available to you.
See, that's it, right? So
Right.
I'm the kind of person that I would happily pay album prices for the MP3s of the material. So for instance, I would love to buy an MP3 version of The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
But I simply can't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, they're not really available anymore, right?
No, it's like I went to Amazon.ca, Canada, and it's pretty much their digital store, if you will, is pretty much gutted out. If you go on Apple Music, it wants you to subscribe to Apple Music for $10 a month rather than pay, album prices for MP3s.
Right.
And the reason why I still need MP3s is because on Roll20 for my games,
you have to upload.
You have to upload an MP3. So if you don't have an MP3, then you can't upload it to Roll20.
Right. So you're limited. You only have a limited amount of songs
that
you have uploaded there, right? So let me finish his question here.
Go ahead.
So Santa Cruz on Discord, our good buddy Joel, asks, I end up using the Witcher 3 soundtrack a lot for my D&D games, as well as a few other video game soundtracks. Any other good albums or scores you guys suggest? Also, any idea? Oh no, then he asks, any idea when we're recording Ugly Mugs, because he'd like to jump on, but since he's 2 hours away from us, he's probably still sleeping right now.
Right.
So so you go ahead first. You talk to us a little bit about some of the soundtracks you like. And preface this with the knowledge that there is a whole half-an-hour episode on the our YouTube page that you did a couple years ago for us about all the different kinds of music that you produce.
I gotta touch it. You're killing me with this preface. I love it. I've always said preface, but now I'm gonna have to start saying preface.
I like preface.
It's a it just, dude, you're killing me. I love it. It's
preface, preface, whatever.
It's a preface. I love it.
It's my French coming out.
Yeah, I love it. I want more of it. Give me more. I want it.
Give me more preface.
Give me more preface. I fucking love that shit. That's great. I was gonna I've got a stack of albums over here, but one of the ones recently that both you and I can attest to it being really great for games is the Aquaman soundtrack.
Oh my God, Rupert Gregson Williams.
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah,
that's a great score. So if you're,
it's so good.
Yeah, for your games, that's a really good one. I use anything from Alan Silvestri. I'll use who's the guy that's born on my birthday? Hans Zimmer, of course. So he's got fantastic soundtracks.
The entire Inception soundtrack is amazing. Yeah,
Inception, Interstellar. Is really good. I use a lot of music when I was running my pirate game. Using all the Pirates of the Caribbean material. And another good one is King Arthur. I think it's a Hans Zimmer. The Clive Owen.
Right.
Yeah, it's got some really good battle music, some good like downtime sort of music. The Count of Monte Cristo is not bad for a few tracks.
Yeah.
I could go on and on. Warcraft is really good. Oh, the Tom Cruise The Mummy.
Oh yeah.
The Tom Cruise horror film. The movie's not fantastic. I didn't like the humor beats that they went for in it. I wish that was out. Um, but in terms of the score has some really great moments, especially if you're trying to terrify your players with like a really bad villain that keeps coming. And
Yeah.
there's some. I used it for my my Halloween game.
Yeah, there's a few of them that I really like to go. That some ones that I go to very frequently is the Oblivion soundtrack, the Elder Scrolls Oblivion by Jeremy Sewell. Just anything that he did in that whole soundtrack, all the score is just amazing. There's some tracks that are like kind of downtime party tracks where if you're just around, like your party's around a campfire, or if you're in the town, there's songs for that. If there's action songs. I mean, it's kind of runs the whole gambit, right? A couple of other quick mentions are there is an actual D&D soundtrack called Midnight Syndicate, and it's really good too. You can find that on Spotify.
Did you get this? That's the name in my Halloween game that I just ran for my players from Horseshoe Valley. So, hey guys, if you're listening, that's the name of their group that they put together.
Oh, they called themselves the Midnight Syndicate?
They call themselves the Midnight Syndicate.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
it was an amalgam of names that they suggested online. Like somebody said the word midnight, somebody said the word syndicate. We
And then they
smashed
got
it
smushed
together, and it turns out it's this group that puts albums out to this day.
Yeah.
Like, and they're still putting out records. And their most recent release was a horror album.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which I used on that weekend.
That. Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome.
And the
That's
midnight
great.
and the idea of the Midnight Syndicate, which I think you're gonna love, is one of the characters decided to play a plague doctor. And so I said, guys, we're doing Doctor Who. So the plague doctor is just referred to as the Doctor.
The Doctor.
And he has the Midnight Syndicate that's his investigative group. And they go around investigating. It's like Scooby-Doo meets Doctor Who.
That's awesome.
So I played the Doctor Who music every time that something went wrong or they were traveling to a place or something. Yeah, it was lots
It wasn't
of fun.
actually Doctor Who though. They didn't actually have a TARDIS or anything, did they?
Well, no, they didn't. But when they went to go visit, so I brought them into Ravenloft because we're actually doing the Curse of Strahd.
Right.
So when I brought them in, they had an altercation traveling with the Vistani, and they arrive at a camp, and they're going to spend the night there after the altercation, and they meet the fortune teller, which is Madame Ava, in the Curse of Strahd campaign, and I had her very young. So she's a young woman, and she does a reading for them. And when they go into her wagon, it's actually a little Harry Potter.
Right.
So it opens up into this larger room. And so they're like, "Oh, we should totally take this wagon. That's our TARDIS."
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I was like,
D&D TARDIS.
Yeah. So they don't have a TARDIS, but they want one. So.
Speaking of Doctor Who, real quick, you and I played in Dwayne's D&D game last night, and there are some serious Doctor Who stuff going on in that game.
Oh yeah,
because that world that we play on, his homebrew world, was a place that my Time Lord went and traveled to and spent time at. So
that's cool. So you played a Time Lord character.
Yeah, so you know how he mentioned at one point in the game the cult of Inara? Remember there's this like weird cult that's going on, the cult of Inara? Well, Inara was one of my doctors. I called him the Professor. That was my Doctor Who character name, the Professor. And one of his companions was Inara.
Cool.
So yeah, so there's some serious Doctor Who stuff going on in that D&D game. So, but yeah, a couple of other quick honorable mentions here for soundtracks. I love the Dragon Age Origins soundtrack. Love it so much.
All the Dragon Ages.
The Party Camp soundtrack, the score bit. It's only like a minute and a half or something like that. It's like 44 seconds to be honest, but it's a really good one to loop in the background, just if the characters are just sitting around talking. It's really, really great. Another honorable mention is you mentioned the Warcraft soundtrack.
Yes.
By
Yeah.
Jason Hayes. I
Yeah.
use that one a lot.
Yeah.
The tavern, there's all kinds of
Everything.
different really cool
It's
little
so
things in
good.
there. Yeah, it's really, really great. So if you're running your game, there's a lot of
suggestions
there. Yeah, it's really great. Yeah, so I think that's.
Did we have any
pretty
other
much it.
questions? No, that was
I
it.
don't think so. Yeah, I think that's it. It's
Well,
gonna be quite a short.
well, no.
Do you have any new music you're listening to right now that you'd like to suggest to people?
Oh, you know what? No, I've gone on the wayside of new music. I have not been digging and finding.
No, eh?
So no, I've been listening. I think Esperanza Spalding released a new record. My son has really got me into Thundercat. I got into Thundercat from our good friend Zélie. Bonjour Zélie, if you're listening. I doubt you would be listening to this podcast, but she got us into Thundercat and Hiatus Coyote and a bunch of other really alternative cool. Yeah, Thundercat. He's awesome.
I'm gonna look that up right now.
He's this really experimental artist. He's he's really cool. And my son is just nuts for him. And he's playing in Toronto, coming up into Canada, I think soon.
If I'm gonna listen to any track, should I listen to Them Changes or Funny Thing?
Oh, either.
Doesn't matter.
mean, you just, and in fact, it's best just to start with the album. I think it's called Drunk, and just check it out. It's pretty cool. He's a really creative artist. So yeah, I don't know. I've been listening to too much just old stuff, recycling old stuff. So
I've been on a recent Strokes kick again. I've been listening to all the Strokes albums over again.
Yeah.
They're just fantastic.
I just did the Weezer run. I did the whole run recently.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so
Dude,
good.
I know, man.
There's so many
every record, man.
Gems. Yeah, there's so many forgotten gems in their catalog.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh wow, like Maladroit is like an awesome, amazing album. It's so good. And like no one even talks about it. Never. Like no one ever even considers it.
So I just pulled off in English. I said maladroit and you said maladroit.
Maladroit. There's my French again.
There you go. I love it.
This.
I love it.
Let's preface this.
Give me more French. I love that.
But yeah, I've been listening to that, and I've also been listening to a lot of Velvet Underground. I listened to a podcast called No Dogs in Space, and they're doing like a 5-part series on the Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
So the Apple TV Plus whatever just came out with a documentary on the Velvet Underground. So I've just kind of been revisiting them a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Very cool.
Well, I think that's it, everybody. It's a pretty light show. I was a little early, I think, for people to be able to jump on. Yeah. Normally we get a couple of guests to come on and ask us questions, but all for naught.
That's okay. Maybe next time we'll do it a little later and we might get some.
And we can get some more people's in, yeah. Well, thanks a lot for joining us. We rambled and talked about some TV. Anything that you're hyped about right now, Jack, that you're eagerly awaiting?
What's after school? Well, today I did notice in the feed that some people were going to see Dune or had seen Dune. I tried not to read anything.
Jasper and Werewolf Will were talking back and forth.
Okay, so I have not seen it, but I'm going today at noon hour to see it.
Oh, nice.
So I will have seen it by about 3:00 this afternoon. So
cool. I will secretly tell you that I have seen a little bit of it.
Okay. Wow. Very cool. Very good.
Very good. All right. Well,
we can talk about it after you've seen it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us on this episode of Ugly Mugs. We appreciate everything that you guys do. We appreciate the Discord and the Patreon teams so much. We actually have a new patron that we maybe should say hi to.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we should say hi to him.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's the least we could do. Want to say thank you to Andrew Shaughnessy. He is
hey, Andrew.
Brand new patron on the Patreon team. We it gets confusing because we mentioned people's names on the show and then on Ugly Mugs, and I can't remember if we've mentioned them on both. So I'm just gonna run through a short list here of new patrons. So Andrew Shaughnessy is the most recent one, but we also have Pac-Man in Ohio, Jason Stock, Ashlyn Lee, Anna P, Joseph Bruno, Pat Bevins. I think those are probably the most recent ones.
Right.
Thomas Kovar, we've got a few of them there. So thank you very much, everybody, for supporting the show. It means the world to us, and it keeps us going, and it makes us strive for better content. So thanks a lot. So thanks for listening. We love you very much, and till next time.
Take care, everybody.